If you look at touring records of massive pop stars, you see sold-out stadiums. But Michael Jackson's records read like ambulance dispatch logs. During a single night of the 1988 Bad Tour, 1,550 people required medical attention. The official logs from the stadium show medics treating crushed toes, severe dehydration, and extreme hyperventilation. Hundreds of attendees lost consciousness from the pressure of the crowd itself. This level of chaos happened at nearly every stop. The human body undergoes predictable, medically documented physiological failure under these conditions, creating a risk level that most touring acts never encounter. The opening of the 1992 concert in Bucharest demonstrated the speed of this collapse. The stage crew used a hidden pyrotechnic platform nicknamed the Toaster to catapult Jackson straight through the stage floor. He landed in a gold armor jacket and stood perfectly still. For 90 seconds, he didn't sing or move a single muscle. The reaction was immediate. Before the first note of music played, frontline fans began going limp. Security teams were already pulling unconscious bodies over the rails to waiting stretchers, while Jackson remained motionless. Most performers spend their entire careers trying to earn that kind of reaction through high-energy choreography. Jackson triggered mass biological failure simply by standing there. The medical explanation begins with the stadium environment. These venues combined extreme heat and poor air circulation, with a level of body packing that made deep breathing difficult. The shows were engineered so that fans would physically pressure their own chest cavities with the bass. This chart shows how the low-frequency audio was designed to be felt as much as it was heard. The choreography then weaponized that tension. Jackson used long periods of stillness followed by sudden, explosive movement. This creates a sharp spike in the human sympathetic nervous system, essentially shocking the body's fight-or-flight response. This combination of heat, physical pressure, and neurological shock created a reliable trigger for vasovagal syncope. The concert environment functioned as a trap for susceptible nervous systems. But biology is only half of the equation. In 1992, post-communist Eastern Europe was an emotional pressure cooker. For many in Romania, a Western pop concert of this scale simply hadn't existed before. Seeing Jackson in person was their first direct encounter with the cultural world that replaced the dictatorship only 3 years prior. The fans were also primed by years of private listening. Songs like Man in the Mirror and Heal the World used direct emotional address, forging intense attachments in the minds of listeners long before they ever bought a ticket. When they finally stood in his presence, many experienced a state of spiritual shock. The brain struggled to process that a figure they had only seen through a screen was now a physical person standing in front of them. This lifetime of emotional and political investment combined with the hostile physical environment of the stadium to trigger an overwhelming neurological crash. The intensity of these reactions suggests a deeper cultural vulnerability that existed across the globe. In his analysis of the culture of narcissism, Christopher Lasch described an era where individuals felt increasingly disconnected from history and tradition. This diagram illustrates the resulting meaning deficit. In a fragmented society, isolated individuals search for external models to fill a psychological void, leading to a relentless pursuit of identity through public figures. A society stripped of traditional myths becomes uniquely susceptible to this kind of projection. The crowd is waiting for a single figure they can use to define themselves. The fans collapsing at the barriers were projecting their own pursuit of identity and perfection onto the figure under the spotlights. They were reacting to the realization of a version of themselves they had built privately over years of devotion. Jackson's career followed the pattern of a mythical hero. For a secular age, he became a container for global projections, serving a function that was as much religious as it was musical. That era of universal monoculture has since faded. Our current media landscape is fragmented by algorithms, meaning we likely won't see humanity unite to worship and physically collapse before a single idol again.